Flags up, it's down, they're off. And Fairy Mix the first to show, followed by the grey Darius de Source, Mount Mews settling down in last position as they go to the first of the 18 fences. So it is Fairy Mix who leads them to the first. Fairy Mix rises now and lands about 2.5 clear of Darius de Source, with John Dawson aboard Mount Mews, last of the trio around the first turn. Going down the side of the track, and Fairy Mix in the hands of Scarlet Frank leads by around about 4 lengths, with Lewis Teal and Darius de Source second, and a length to John Dawson aboard Mount Mews as they jump the fence down the side. So all over, approaching the turn in, with Fairy Mix the pace setter, around about 3 lengths clear of Darius de Source, with Mount Mews occupying last place. On the run to the first of the 2 fences in the straight this time round. This is the third in total, and it is Fairy Mix coming to it from Darius de Source and Mount Mews. Not a lot between the second and third, all over that one. So Fairy Mix in front. Fairy Mix, a runner-up behind Mount Mews last time. Mount Mews certainly comes into this in fine form, having won his last 3. Darius de Source on the inner. Darius de Source, who was down the field when last seen, jumping that fence. So all over, and now running towards the turn out of the straight, setting out for the first 2 full circuits. Fairy Mix on top by around about 2 lengths. Fairy Mix from Darius de Source, with Mount Mews still in last place. Fence they're approaching now, the fence by the paddock, is the 5th, and it's Fairy Mix taking off in front of Darius de Source. Mount Mews just going a little to his right there, but around that turn, and going on now down the far side to the first in this line of fences. Fairy Mix in front. Fairy Mix by 3 lengths to Darius de Source, and then a couple of lengths or so to Mount Mews, all over that plain one. Going now to a ditch. Fairy Mix cutting out the early work, the order yet to change. Fairy Mix, Darius de Source and Mount Mews at the ditch, all over. 1 more to take in this line, and Fairy Mix looking for revenge today against Mount Mews. Fairy Mix the leader from Darius de Source, and Mount Mews still in last as they come to this plain one. Fairy Mix by a couple of lengths to Darius de Source, and then Mount Mews. So the 14-year-old mare, Fairy Mix in front for Scarlet Frank, going down the side. Fairy Mix still about 2.5 lengths or so clear, 3 lengths to Darius de Source, then another couple of lengths to Mount Mews, the fence down the side, all over, and now running to the turn. So still over a circuit to go. They're going on towards the 10th fence now. So it is Fairy Mix the leader. Fairy Mix from Darius de Source, youngest member of this party at the age of 10. And Mount Mews still held up by John Dawson in the cheek pieces. Going on now towards this plain fence. Fairy Mix coming to it. And there, again, not a lot between second and third. Darius de Source, the grey on the inside of Mount Mews. So they run between the 2 fences in the straight. Coming now to the McIver's fence. And as they come to it, it's Fairy Mix still leading. Fairy Mix, Mount Mews taking on Darius de Source for second. A circuit still to go. So they're about to take the turn out of the straights and approach the fence by the paddock once more. Fairy Mix still holding on to that advantage. Fairy Mix nudged along a little bit in front. Fairy Mix by around about a length to Darius de Source and Mount Mews up this fence. Over they go, and they set out for their final circuit. So Fairy Mix leads them onto the back straight. Fairy Mix, Darius the Source now trying to apply a little bit of pressure to Fairy Mix. And Mount Mews just allowing it to happen at the moment, about 3 lengths away and over that fence, and Darius the Source has taken over from Fairy Mix. So new leader, Darius the Source. Fairy Mix now under pressure, and things start, the pace that Fairy Mix has set now just starting to take its toll on this mare. Drops to third as Mount Mews takes second. That was the ditch, going on now towards a plain fence, 4 from home. Darius the Source in front, the short price favourite Mount Mews in second as they go to it, and Fairy Mix under pressure to keep up. 4 out, and there it was Darius the Source from Mount Mews. They're going clear of Fairy Mix as they go down the side of the course to 3 from home, and it's Darius the Source the leader, but only 3 parts of a length away is Mount Mews, and then a major gap to Fairy Mix, who is weakened away. So it's Darius the Source in front of Mount Mews. Darius the Source just took a little bit of ground out of Mount Mews there, a little bit slicker, quite a quick jump from Darius the Source. Darius the Source, Mount Mews about 2.5 lengths down as they make the final bend. They've got 2 fences to jump, and they are now a mile clear of Fairy Mix. So making the run towards the second last, Darius the Source and Teal, Mount Mews and John Dawson coming towards 2 from home. And at the second last now, Darius the Source rose just in front of Mount Mews, but John Dawson's now just having to ask Mount Mews to pick up on the run down towards the final fence. Darius the Source making Mount Mews pull out all the stops as they come down towards the last fence. It's Darius the Source and Mount Mews at the final fence now. Darius the Source has been headed by Mount Mews. Mount Mews has moved on from Darius the Source. Looked a little bit disorganised on landing, Darius the Source. And on the flat going to the line, it is Mount Mews by a couple of lengths to Darius the Source. Mount Mews just being kept up to his work, and it is another win for Mount Mews. Clings on. Mount Mews wins again. Just clings on there from the rallying Darius the Source, and they are well clear of Fairy Mix.
We put money on it, I thought it was 5 to them.